have food and beverage there for purchase.
But not like your dinner food.
Right.
It says
Probably small snacks. Right. And also, this is an opportunity to network with some people that don't normally network with, and also to share Rotary with them. So, you know, think about it in that aspect. If you'd like to come join us for a little bit of fun, please do let us know as soon as possible. All right, next one. Is it frozen? Yeah, looks like they're frozen. Tracy, is the slide frozen? Go to the next. Oh, well, she's trying to get there.
1 second.
Nope. Okay. This is a new format, obviously, if y'all now notice that we're playing around with. So we're still trying to work through that as well.
I'm having difficulties.
Okay. All right, well, I'll just go through some of the other announcements. So Tuesday, August 18th is our board meeting. This is at 6 o'clock, this one. It's the only one that will be at 6 o'clock. They had the room being used prior to us being there, and they needed time to sanitize in between. So just make sure you note that. Let's see, Friday, August 14th. There we go. Perfect. We're having the, well, the District Governor Darrell Keys is having his high tea with Samantha. So you can register on DACDB for that, and it's 4 to 5 o'clock. And then you can come over and do the outdoor bingo. On August 25th, we have our speakers for, and we'll talk about what, you know, options are for you and your business during this time during COVID. Let's see. Friday, August 28th is the Infinite Possibilities Part 2 featuring Jenny Schatz, and that's via Zoom from 1 to 2 o'clock. It's also on DACDB to be registered for. And on the 30th is Down at the Pub, again with District Governor Darrell, and that's on Zoom from 7 until 8. A couple of save the dates. Monday, October 12th is the quarterly State of the District address by Darrell Keys, and that's 7 to 8 p.m. Saturday, October 17th is save the date for ROI. We'd like to have a good number of us go and attend that. And then on the Saturday, November 14th is the district celebration and foundation dinner. So make sure you get those dates on your calendar. I think that's why they haven't announced, like they're just doing a save the date right now. I'm not sure. I think Cindy's trying to work through that still. Maybe they'll have time and have it set up that they can do that. I'm not sure. Okay. So now we also are accepting credit card payments. We did set up a PayPal account. So when you get your due statements and things like that, it'll have a link in there that you can go and pay for your fees that way. Trying to make things more convenient, especially during this time of COVID, less transfer of money and whatnot. All right, and we wanted to welcome, Walt stepped up to be our Sergeant at Arms. Tracy was initially starting to do that, but her responsibilities have shifted a little bit and got increased with her position with the district as public image chair. So Walt has graciously agreed to do that.
Oops.
Hey, well,
And then we do have a couple of celebrations, I believe.
No.
Oh, we had them all last week, didn't we?
Yes, but Barbara's doing well. She's out of her surgery and home recovering.
Okay, so she is home.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Well, if you have the inclinings and want to send a card to Barbara, wish her well, please do. Okay, on to the next. All right, so here's our member spotlight. Valerie, would you like to come on up? No.
She clearly likes green. We know.
Yeah. Oh, and I have green.
Not the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is my vocational moment. So, as you know, I'm a CPA, and I have my own accounting practice in Englewood. And I have had that for about 16 years. And I started doing accounting when I was about 18 years old. And I've never stopped, and I've never done anything else. So one of these days, I am going to grow up and do something different. But until then, if I can ever help anybody with small business consulting or tax returns and tax planning, I would love to have the opportunity to help. That's it, from
All
a
right.
boring accountant, okay?
Oh, don't run away. All right. So I'm also going to let Valerie introduce our speaker today. So Rhondy, please welcome Rhondy with a big.
Oh, a more exciting person. Rhondy Weston was born and raised in Bella Glade. He played college football at the University of Florida and graduated with a bachelor's degree in health and human performance. He was drafted to play in the NFL and played 4 years with the Dallas Cowboys, Buccaneers, and Cleveland Browns. Awesome. He is married to Patrice Weston and has 3 wonderful children. He moved to Englewood in 2006, self-employed at the Patrice Weston State Farm Agency. He's coached football for Port Charlotte High and the Englewood Pop Warner. He's created his own nonprofit organizations to support education, athletics, and excellent scholarships. He has an annual golf tournament that raises money for that foundation, and he is a member of the Lemon Bay Sunrise Road. So with that, I welcome Rhondy.
Thank you. Appreciate that there. Correction first before we start. I did have a name change there. How long ago was that, Miss Lori? About a year or so ago? I noticed a lot of people say Rhonday. It is actually Rhondy. But I go with Rhonday, big fella, little fellow there. I get called all kind of things, but either way, a little humor before we get started there in regards to that. I told I would be speaking about what's going on today in the sports world with this virus, COVID-19 thing. And the information I've been getting from high school, college on up. They started the NBA and with this bubble thing, keeping them in the bubble inside. They had baseball with Marlins, they was getting that there. And but the NBA did a good job. They certainly had some that tested positive for that. But what they did with that, their little bubble they call over there at Disney, is that the testing that they do for those guys, they continue to test for it. But if someone get the test, they're gonna have to. It's gonna be 2 weeks. If they leave that bubble, they have about 10 days there before they can come back, and they have to have 2 negative tests before they return. You put that on a larger scale when you're talking about the NFL. They're gonna do something like that, and they can contain it with their team, because it's only their team and the people around their team. The issue is when these guys get away and get with their family and then bring in that fact. That's what's hard to contain. The other day I heard a comment by Nick Saban, the coach of Alabama. He said the kids are safer at school than at home. And I agree with that because once they get home, they're going to be everywhere. They're going to be with their friends. They're going to be in college. They want to play football. They are there. You're going to have some of those guys get positive. But I think they understand it now, if they play football, that I got to be careful who I'm around and what I do. To not catch a positive of the people I'm around so I could bring it back to my teammate and possibly someone else on the team. High school there, I was looking at a report with high school there. They had an advisory committee for Florida High School Athletic Association. They're going to recommend moving the start date for football back to November, which is strange to me. Is I say that's weird. So now you want to go to a condensed season, November to January. I said, what about spring? Spring is so important to developing kids, getting them ready. You got young kids coming up. And then what about, kids who are getting ready for college? You got seniors coming this year. It doesn't make sense for them to play because they haven't signed a scholarship yet to say they're going to guarantee that. What if they get hurt? Thank you. I do love cookies. You could have put about 3 or 4 of them up there. But at the same time, those kids who are committed to schools and if they get hurt or something there, there's no guarantee until you sign that paper. Now, if they commit to stand with the kid, they get hurt, then that's nice. I understand that, yeah, but I've certainly seen before where schools have committed to kids and then they change later because kids committed to schools and they change their mind later. So it certainly can happen there. But you're moving the dates back to spring. Either you're going to have football or not because you changed the whole scope from fall sports to spring sports. We're going to move everything. It's just a lot going on. How are you going to fit that into your stadium, your gymnasium, and all of those things there? And then now you got college. You're talking about moving that back. Now you're looking at the draft. You got a senior coming up. It doesn't make sense for him to play football in November. If he's waiting for the draft next year, he get a serious injury, ACL, or it's something that's going to keep him out 6 months alone. That takes away from him potentially being a high draft pick. And there's a difference in pay that being in the first round opposed to being in the 5th round. Because this is their first job they're getting, and they're trying to earn the millions of dollars instead of a couple of thousands of dollars there. I know in the NFL, they do have where players have opt out to, they didn't want to play because of health issues. And they can do that, but you don't get your full salary. If you opt out and you're fine, you're healthy, they're going to give you, I think it was $150,000. You get $150,000. If you opt out and you have underlying issues, you get $350,000. Now those guys who are healthy, they get the $150,000, and it is tough because if you're used to making 10, 15 million, what is $150,000? And then you get taxed at a higher price. You get over 30%. So half of your money is gone there. Hopefully you save money, but we know the story about athletes and their money. Yeah, I need to send them to you, Deb. But with that, I mean, it is some money for guys there. They are getting some money if they want to opt out because of that there, because a lot of guys are worried about they're having their first child. They don't want to take it back. And that's understandable. You don't want to play. You do that there. Then the risk of playing, the risk of not what you're going to get with that there. But I think they're working on the safety of all the players as far as, trying to protect them. I think the issue with the players got to get in their mind to, I can't go and be hanging around my friends and then come back to this bubble and not have anything. And they're testing. NFL is testing every day. Every day. If you leave, you got to wait 10 days. Like they're modeling the NBA. You got to wait 10 days before you get back out there with so they are going to protect the first 2 weeks. I think they'll be fine with the players while they're in camp. Usually it's 6 weeks of camps there, but I know during my time of playing NFL, it was 6 weeks break. We start from week 1 to week 6. If we were practicing, I was with the Dallas Cowboys. We was in California. I think the last week, the 5th week, who went back to Dallas. But now they go in 2 or 3 weeks, they go back to their own town, or they already practice in their own town, but they go back to their own facility. It's just when they break camp is from that point on, how you're going to protect the guys. That's what they need to work on. I don't think the camp would be an issue when they start their camp. I think it's once they leave camp, how are we going to work with these guys? And I think a lot of veterans, they understand the importance of, a lot of guys say they're not going to see their family 4 or 5 months because they're so serious about it. That's their income. They're the breadwinner. Guys want to bring that home, they want to give it to their family. And but it's changing every day, from high school to college to pros. They're changing every day. No one knows. I was just talking to Ms. Lori about college. Some of them already canceled their season. Some of them postponed. They're trying to figure out what they want to do. Then you got some that want to play. And watching the news the other day, the last couple of days, you got players now, college players now saying that they want to go play. They don't care about it, but they're not going to do that. They say they'll sign a waiver. That's way more so that if you're on the age, you got to get your parents to sign that waiver. You know, liability. You know, so a lot of stuff worried, and that's just young people talking. But at the same time, I would love to see it. I think everybody would love to see fall sport, football, or whatever sports that's coming on there, because it's we didn't realize how important that was in our lives until you don't have it. You don't have it there. But I think at the same time, I think they're working on it. They're working diligently trying to find a solution for everybody with it. And I think as you go, you might see a lot of altering the schedule and what you're doing, particularly in college. You know, they have the schedule in conference. College, they want to play in conference, no out of conference team. And I've been hearing talks about, oh, this team like Florida State play every year. And now we got our governor saying that, oh, we want to see how we can get them play. I'm like, well, they just canceled non-conference games. You know, and I don't know what our governor has to do with, you know, these teams playing each other, but they're playing in conference game. I have no problem with that. But at the same time, I think once you get later on down the line to figuring out what's going on and how this is going to work, then you can go on and look at, you know, the possibility of playing those teams in the season there. So, but it's always changing. There's no particular way that they're leaning now. I know they're leaning toward, okay, cancel the season, playing the season. I would say probably 50-50, just looking at it. But it's more so wait and see what they're doing. And I think all these things been put in place to protect the players. It's still a possibility. I have a son play high school here for Venice there. Every day I try to talk to him. He's young, 16. So you have to constantly have to talk. Be careful when you're around. And you know, how you tell a 16-year-old, yeah, they just like a little kid, touch it. I'm like that. I'm used to hugging everybody. I'm here to air hug. You know, I can't give you a big hug and pick you up anymore. You know. Alfred, give me a hug there. Don't pick up your feet there. But you know, it's changing. It's different for everybody. But and I think we'll certainly get better in regards to that. And like I say, my time playing football is certainly different now. One, they make more money. Two, they're much bigger, faster. And I think the way they're protecting players with concussion, I've always gotten people asked how many concussions you have? Well, I've never been knocked out, but every now and then, if I sneeze hard, I got a concussion. You know, it's like, I see little birdies. That is true now. That is true. But you know, you have that because one of my buddies asked me that, you have evidence of a concussion. I said, no. I said, but if you go back and look at the old film, on the sideline, they have a smelling salt, they pop the ammonia. He had a concussion. Chances are he had a concussion. But since they bring awareness to that a little bit more of the concussions now haven't been from a big hit. It's come from guys whiplash, they hit in the neck ground there. And they certainly gotten better with that, but at the same time, how do you tell the ground to move? Right. It doesn't. You know, people's bodies they run so fast. You got a guy with 20, 30 miles an hour, he's running, then get hit, his head hit the ground. You know, but I think what they put in place, they have an independent doctors or specialists on the sideline which is different from the team, that has nothing to do with the team. If you look like he has a concussion, he has to come out. That is big. I think they need that in high school kids there. I think for the Pop Warner, there have been some studies to have younger kids, protect the younger kids, don't have football until 12. I don't know if you can do that. You can do flag, but I would say you modify the game. You don't have to have kickoffs. Most of the kids get hurt younger age. They get hurt on kickoffs because you got the more experienced kid when they're going to come and ram the kid who don't know how to play. I don't agree with that. Take kickoff off. They can learn that once they get a little bit older to do that. Place the ball on the 25, let them play, get up, do it again. If they don't do nothing in 4 downs, they don't score, put it on the other team, give them a chance. Because at the end of the day, all the young kids want where we're going to go eat. That's all they want to know. They're gonna forget about, who won the game. Some of them don't know. They don't know. They do not know. But at the same time, that's part of protecting the integrity of the game and educating these coaches and protecting the players. You want these kids to grow up without having all these injuries, because I'm part of that era where guys get the injuries and things. Now we're fighting something else that's different, virus. And most people, unless you have someone that's had that virus, that thinks that they're going through that virus now. I just had an aunt that was taken off ventilator in Atlanta, and she used to visit a lot, but she I probably attracted from a job, but they just took off. She's doing a little bit better. She got a ways to go, but at the same time, you just never know, underlying conditions. So we got to protect everybody. And the other thing about wearing the mask, people don't want to wear them. Okay, well, you can't go in their stores, and if they don't want you, I have no problem with that. I can't tell you what to do, but if they don't want me to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. If they don't, I'm fine. I'm fine in a setting like this. But at the same time, the scope of it, we got 80 kids on a football team. And you got men. You go from college to pro, it's about the same amount. You got to protect yourself. And if you have the urge to think about other people, then you have to protect yourself. And that's what it boils down in regards to that. As far as the information I've been getting, that is it. Tomorrow we may have more, but until then, that's the information. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Rhondy, if this was in professional football right now, what decision would you think about?
I have to think of it because I don't have those conditions. Certainly, I would hope that I'll be in the position I am now mentally to say, okay, is it safe for me to go and play? If you was to ask me that when I was 21, I'm going to make this money here, But now it's like, think more rationally, because anybody in my family is sick or something like that. And then I talk it over with my wife and how comfortable she is, my family is with me doing it. So I certainly have to look at that as far as trying to protect my family. Actually, you got guys have been there. Football is not meant to be played a long time because in 4 short years, I've had so many issues. I got both of my knees done. I got my hip done, rotator cuff. I got to see a doctor tomorrow because this little piece right here, that just popped up. And it is weird. And I don't know how this happened, but it does that. But I feel great. I'm super excited about life. But a lot of guys, when football is over, taking care of themselves, it's not good. They predict the life of a football player is 55 years old. That's young. And a lot of guys they're passing on at 55, but you got to take care of yourself. And the NFL certainly gotten a lot better as far as putting protocols in place. They got a Cleveland Clinic in Fort Lauderdale. Guys can go down there and get treatment. It's a process, but at the same time, it's tough because a lot of insurance companies, you have pre-existing conditions. A lot of them don't want to take you when you got broken bones and you got a lot of stuff going on. Because guys get that, you lose your money, broken up, you start drinking. It's a lot of stuff that's entangled in that together that kind of affects guys and their decisions. in regard. Yes.
How are a lot of the players after they return to the NFL mentally after? Because I know as a man, we define ourselves by what we do. You know, those years are winding down. Is it mentally take a toll on them?
I think because you have to get over, you've been the guy, you've been the rah-rah guy, they see you on TV. Like you got to transition from being a star to just being a common person now. Not just a common person, a regular person. You know, you gotta, the fact that now I gotta get a job and have my own business is one of the biggest things I've learned that it's a little bit better than what it used to be, but that's 1,800 players in the NFL. Transition from football to life. And that's the biggest thing. You see a lot of younger guys are doing commentating. There's a few guys that are doing that transition well with that. But with 1,800 players every year, what are these guys going to do? They're certainly making a lot more money, but at the same time, you know, guys that doesn't transition well, that leads into now you're spending more money. Now you're getting into alcohol and drugs and things of that nature. And that presents its own problem with that. And before you know it, that they have one golden rule, and she's a financial person. Anytime you spend more money going out and coming in, you're going to go broke. And a lot of guys, they do that. You go get the big house with all this, the Italian marble and all that stuff, all the cars and stuff. I said, but eventually you're going to have to repair this stuff. You have to pay taxes on your home you pay for. You spend the money, what happens? You lose that, you lose the house. When you take care of your whole family, not just your family, but outside of your whole family, you can't do that. And that's where a lot of that stuff comes from. Because I know you have the suicide guy, guy from my hometown, he committed suicide. A lot of stuff, they can get you help, but you got to go and get that. You got to go and get that. NFL put a lot of places, a lot of things in place for guys to get help. Like the money, I don't know if you saw the money aside that they put for concussions for a lot of players. And a lot of them died, but their family, they still can go get something. I went and took the test, but I could not do that CAT scan. I tried to do that CAT scan in other places, but those people, they need it more than I do. They need it more than I do. But I just wanted to know where I'm at for how everything is working up there. And it's like, you know, and then hopefully one day I'll do that. Even now, if it doesn't have to be my head, I just still have issues with doing it in an enclosed place. I did get stuck in a CAT scan. That wasn't pretty, you know, that wasn't pretty at all. But I think that's the thing that guys got to do. Even young player like my son, we did a physical to him. And his doctor said that she see a little, it may not be then, but we went to see a cardiologist so he get to eat. But it was nothing wrong. But I think when you have that young kids, that needs to be done as well as concussion tests. They need to do that every year because irregular heartbeats is happening so much with kids. That needs to be done every year with kids to protect kids. It doesn't have to be football. You play any sport. But I think kids are kids. You have to get that down with no folks who wait until they get later and they have issues. I think once you know those issues, you help those kids deal with those issues while they're playing. Yeah.
Really big, well added concept.
Yeah, they
That alone can change.
Yeah, it does. And I think they have it now with that. I think the concussion stuff, they have that going on. So they're right on top of it. Of course, taking care of, you know, getting the kids to take care of themselves, to eat properly. And I notice a lot of kids who are not well to do. A lot of them don't eat. You're training, going out there in that sun, you got to eat properly before you go and train. And you're trying to teach these kids. Summer programs here, they're trying to get kids breakfast while their parents were, even while we got the virus going on. But those are the things you deal with because if you don't get something in it, how can you go out there and perform? You can't. You just can't.
Speaking of childhood, I know a little bit about you as friends, but
about like your childhood and how football shaped you, and like maybe a little of your high school story about when you became all basketball player?
Yeah, my hometown, Bellblade, you know, I'm from that small town agriculture sugarcane. You know, I was born at 176 pounds, you know. My mom's still in the hospital, you know. No, I was born in a small town. There wasn't much there, so they pushed. We have a lot of athletes. I think my hometown had more players that went to the NFL than any other city per capita. Now, Fort Lauderdale is number one, but Fort Lauderdale is a bigger area. But Belgrade, we just have that. But there's nothing there. So we play sports, we hunt rabbits, we fish. And so, you know, the thing was sports. We get out and play sports. And I think our first guy that went to a Division I school went to Florida State, Jesse Hill. He's the first one that opened the floodgate for Division I colleges coming there. I mean, we had some guys go to smaller schools, but at the same time, once we got that first guy come there, they never stopped coming. I think every year we put guys in the NFL, and I think this past year we had a guy, he went with the Washington Redskins and doing well. I think the year before. So there's certainly kids that are doing that. And I go back to look at that because that's what the town is, a football. I mean, you got these kids playing. I hate to, that stigma of, you know, this is your way up, this is your way up. And there's some smart kids there. I give scholarship, not just here, there too, every year. I go back and give there. And it was a young lady. She got a scholarship from, endowment scholarship from President Obama. I'm like, oh man, from a small town, which was big, you know, so she didn't play football. So, but those things there, let's push education, you know, with these kids. I think is once you go and something happened to you, that you can't play football, at least you have something to fall back on. Time and time again, you see so many guys, that's their life. They want to go make it in football, and a lot of them don't make it in football, but you have something to fall back on. But this town here is Belgrade, Pahokee, close, and all of them there together, 27 corridor takes you right down there. But we call it, the soil down there, we call it muck, very black. I mean, you can just throw seeds, don't have to bury anything. That's just how rich, I will not kid you, that's just how rich it is. But at the same time, the life in that area is not. I think the income level is 13,000 or less. I think the best job you probably get there is working for the students or the government. Probably have about, I know we used to have about 10 prisons down there that you can, like on every corner, you know. I'm like, this is crazy. You have more prisons than schools. But at the same time, the best job were, if you got in the prison system, you had a good job with benefits. You got, you know, got in the school system. You know, just a government job down there. At least you have benefit opposed to. I remember I was a kid. My mother growing up. I did sugar cane. I did corn, and they used to have this long conveyor belt, and you cut corn. They give you a butcher knife. You cut the corn, lettuce, cut it, put it on the conveyor belt. Cut. And I did that with my mother, and they go by roll. You know, my mom, she had about 4 or 5 rolls just cut. I had 1 roll. That thing almost killed me that day. I'm like, I do not want to do this here. So, but that was the life because you had to live. It was more in survival mode there than anything. But I appreciate that now, growing up like that. Even when I coached here, Pop Warner here, a lot of kids, and we go to Belgrade close and play. We go to Immokalee LaBelle. I'm like, what are y'all scared of? You know, like, I say, no. And I tell them, I say, they're human just like you are. They're hard from. I'm like, it's the stigma of that. I say, look, those guys there, they're playing football because they're trying to make it money for the guys. I said, you guys have a mall over here, you got air conditioning. There are those all day, they don't have that. So either you love the game or you don't. You can't just play it. And but the difference is that was the difference with a lot. And once our kids here found out that they can play, they're like, oh yeah, you're right, Coach Rhondy. It's like, but it's certainly different in those areas over there. It's like being in third world somewhere, you know. But I certainly appreciate my hometown because it made me the person I am. I talked to a lot of guys over there. My best friend, he's a year ahead of me. I'm just talking earlier, I had donated a kidney to him. He's doing well, but he went a year ahead of the University of Florida. At one point, we had 6 guys up there when I was there. And we, just about every guy got drafted. And you would think all those guys getting drafted in a town, that this town where I'm from would be uplifted. I said, it's even worse when I graduated. It's worse. I mean, it's horrible. It is horrible there. I go there during the daytime, see family, I'm out of there at nighttime. That's how bad it is. So when I go through Arcadia, I like, this is similar at home. But at the same time, it's like for a town to have that many athletes, you would think it would be up a little bit better than what it was. But it's rich in soil, got sugar cane, got the muck. We call it the muck because it's and it gets you very dirty too. They go muddy in that there. It's like, but you know, south end of Lake Okeechobee, and the lake is our thing down there. The muck and the lake is out there, but not so on the Myers side. They don't let that water flow down there. So, but that is it. You know, Belgrade. It doesn't run. Every player that ever played, they have their own story. They have their trials and tribulations they go through, but it is the same in getting through it. Everybody went through stuff. Getting through is another thing. Keep fighting and keep fighting. And that's the thing I appreciate. I go and talk. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. You definitely see the yes.
Could you tell us just a little bit about your foundation?
Well, I started my foundation. I've always given back and volunteered. I did camps when I lived in Orlando. Finished playing, I lived in Orlando. I did camps. I worked with some of the college coaches there. But I've always wanted to do something. It took me time when I got here. And when I started that, I said, you know, education, athletics, excellence there. I'm like, I didn't want it to be just about sports. I wanted to be about academics as well. And that was back in 2013, 2014. I started it. It was so funny too, because I didn't know what I was getting myself in. The process of getting everything done, that was okay, but doing a golf fundraiser by myself, the first one, I did it by myself. I don't think I worked that year. My wife is my boss. I don't know if she liked it. But she saw the good that I was doing with that. But I did the first one over in Norfolk, Heron Creek, phenomenal golf course, if anybody ever played there. Then all the other ones I did at Lemon Bay, and then Return I've done there. So, but at the same time, we're going to help kids. I want to help kids to give them money. I mean, even when we give them the money scholarship at night, we try to mentor them, when they go into school. And I try to get them back to, every year to, give you experience or when you graduate. We certainly have a lot of kids graduate. I gave over $70,000 scholarship money. Probably, I want to say probably around 100 kids. We gave a lot of scholarship, and I appreciate that, because when they send those thank yous, I've graduated. Thank you for helping me out. Even in the grocery store, when they stop and say I've graduated, that's what makes me proud to do that here. But that was started with just, you want to give back, you want to help kids. The kids want to go off and do something. They want to experience something other than here. And the funny thing about these kids, I want to get away from Inglewood. I want to go somewhere. Guess what? They end up back here because they love it here. They love it here. So, but at the same time, with those, I meet a lot of people every year. I try to bring some of them over to. Certainly, the sponsors being kind. I never wanted to be so big where I couldn't do it, because here is golf and fishing. So many people, but it's just me and the people that I know. Because if it gets so big, then how long would it? Right. I love to be in that medium range, so that's something that's manageable. Because once you get too big, you have to work on it year round, and I don't have that kind of time to do it. I love doing other things in regards to that. So, but with that being said, that but it certainly have to this day. This year, past year, I wasn't able to do it. We committed to the schools to do it. And we did. We gave kids. They're not going to school, but it does help. We know how much it costs. Books and but we need every bit of that money. Yes.
Any plans to bring Jake in the red coat to Inglewood?
Hey, we're working on that. You see, man, you think alike there. You think alike. You know, it's kind of, that is a thought. I'm gonna have to get back with you on that. I think that'll work over here, Jake in the red coat there. Yes, sir.
So it looks like we have a question out from Zoom that says, how hard is it to play at peak performance without the fans?
That's a tough one because you get a lot of energy from the fans. Is that how do you motivate yourself? Because guess what? When these guys make a good play, they get up, rah, rah, rah. That's for the fans. Now, who are you going to rah, rah to? You're going to go to your own teammate? That's certainly part of your teammate, but the fans not there. You got to find a different motivation for playing now because that's very different.
Yeah.
I know, looking at, I don't know if you guys have seen the NBA games. Do you see the people in there?
Yeah.
There wasn't my father-in-law saying, oh, they got a lot of people. I say, no, that's not real people in there. But I think they probably do something like that. And some of them say they may let people in up to 25% capacity. So, but we're not there yet.
Right.
Who knows with that? But I think those guys have to find their own motivation in football to keep it going like that. I mean, they compete, but at the same time, because you got guys going against each other, but it's like when you make that good play, who do you do a fist bump to?
Right.
That's,
Sure.
yes.
Anything else? Anybody else have any other questions?
As
Yes.
far as a mentor, helping you make you who you are.
It was a lot of people growing up. It was a lot of people, you know, and probably one of the biggest ones that I've had was, I remember I was about 13. I was bigger than a lot of people, and there were some people bigger than I was, but I remember these guys, I was playing basketball. I was always with the older people. They thought I was older. I was just 13, you know, but I was bigger than. But they took me, one of the prisons down in Belgrade, they took me to play basketball. I was scared. I'm like, these people, I'm like, I'm 13. But when I got in there and they found out I was 13, and they like, that's about every prison there said, don't you end up in here where I'm at. And I'm like, man, that was big. I mean, I got advice from those guys there. And, you know, and moving forward, probably the second biggest, and probably one encounter, I went to her speak. I don't know if you remember basketball player Lynn Bias. That we went to the Celtics. It was cute. Well, his mother spoke at the University of Florida. And she spoke, and it touched me so that I lived my life by what she did, because she, even though she was going through that and grieving through all of that, you know, she was thinking of other people. She had another son. She's like, you know, it could have been worse. You know, you're like, I can't sit here. She's grieving in her own way, but she's like, what if there have been little kids or something like that? So, and actually my junior year, going into my senior year, I lost my mother, accidental drowning. And from listening to her the year before, I had to be the rock for my sister. And I'm not saying now I'm not an emotional guy, but at the same time, I kind of gathered myself. I had my moment, but my sister's a year younger than I was. But I had to be the rock for her, you know, and there was no time for me to, and I wanted to quit football. You know, I wanted to, and what else am I doing? But I had to live that dream through her in doing that there. So there certainly was a lot of people that kind of touched me, but two significant moments in my life, I would say that really.
Right.
So appreciate
Thank
you
you so
guys. It's
much.
always a pleasure there. Thank you.
And I just wanted to say, we're not going to exchange a certificate today, but we will be making a donation in your name to Polio Plus to continue that fight. And I will send you a certificate via email
Yes.
or hard mail.
Well, thank you.
One
You
way or
can
the
give me
other.
some more cookies. That was fun.
So we'll get the cookie lady back out. So thank you, thank you. Okay. So Tracy, oh, she's ahead of me. All right, so as you know, we haven't been doing the 50/50 and the, the happy dollars and whatnot. We will be starting that back up, I hope, next month. We're trying to get a little creative with how we can do that, because we have the mix of on Zoom and in person. But I also wanted to point out that we do have the polio challenge. Past district governor, Rich Kirschner, has kind of said, if you could set aside 25 cents every day. So if you have a jar at home or something and you start just dropping a quarter, your spare change, and then by the time October comes, October 24th will be our World Polio Day. And we do have some stuff planned for that as well. But this is his challenge to all of the Rotarians in the district, is to do the 25 cents a day. So in light of not collecting right now, you can take those dollars or change and do that. Okay. Now, the football pool we do every year. Brenda was going to be in to talk about it, although Brenda is out. She had to go have some tests done. She has some kidney stones to be dealt with. So we wish her
I'm
well
here.
as well. Oh, you are here. Okay.
I made
All right,
it
well,
back in time.
go ahead, chime in.
Okay, well, going off of the nice presentation, we are being optimistic with the Tampa Bay Bucks and having their season. So we are rolling out our annual football pool. This year we are adding the Super Bowl to it. So it'll be a 125 for the entire season plus the Super Bowl. My plan is to send out an email to everybody who participated last year, and then they can, if they commit to it, then I can send them an invoice through PayPal so they can pay directly. We don't have to go around and collect it. So that'll make it a lot easier for us as well. Of course, if something does happen that the season is not to be, then we will, of course, refund the money whoever committed to participating. So that's about it in a nutshell.
And knowing that this is one of our earliest fundraisers, and it is a rather large fundraiser for us, it does give us a lot of funds to do some stuff with. So we hope that that goes off well. So we will move forward with that as we do normally. As she said, you'll look for an email to come out, and we'll have some more information coming in the next week. Gonna go
I
back.
would like one other comment about the Hello Friend. I do have pretty much everybody matched up now, and so my plan is either Friday or Monday to get those out to everybody of who their match is and send them a picture and a little bit of a bio from the resident, so you can start saying hey to them.
Okay, perfect. So if anybody hasn't gotten on that and wants to participate in that, we still do have the forms. We would hope that this will grow. So, please fill out the forms, even though she's got everybody matched up right now. We can expand on that.
Is she out of people? Because I have 3.
Well, right now, she's got everybody that
Oh.
signed up at Brookdale has been matched up, but that doesn't mean we can't double up or that we won't have interest in other people. And again, so if this goes well in the initial stages, we'll expand it out to some of the other facilities.
Well, and I was thinking not just the other assisted livings. I mean, we could contact the Meals on Wheels, because obviously a lot of those people are alone. So we can go with that too, because there's 150 people a day they feed. So I'm sure that they would welcome some pen pals too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome.
Okay. So I think we're going to be about ready to wrap it up. Does anybody have any announcements outside of anything going on in anybody's life, or anything you want to share? Nope. Anybody online?
Walt has something.
Go ahead, Walt.
I just wanted to say that by you allowing me to accept the position of Sergeant at Arms, I've been with the club long enough that it's time for me to step up and do something. Ha!
We like that. Thank you for that, Walt.
Okay,
All right, are we ready to go back to the slide, Trace? Gotta love technology. And are you doing the four-way, Tracy? Valerie, you want to do it? All right, Valerie's gonna do the four-way. We'll lead up and have a great day.
Number 1. Number 2.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Number 3.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Number 4.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? All righty, thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Deb, can you hear me?
I can.
Let's try something as long as the meeting is over. Can you take your cell phone and move it up to the same stand where the Elks laptop is and point it at the podium and see how that makes a big difference as far as who's at the podium? Take your cell phone and just move it up to the same stand where the laptop is.
That you want at the podium, right?
Yeah, I want it aimed right at the podium.
Okay, I'm at the podium.
No, put it on the stand where the Elks camera is pointed out into the audience. If you put it on that same stand and point it at the podium, I think you'll see that whoever's at the podium will be much wider and clearer.
Well, if it makes sense, I'm standing in front of the computer right now.
Okay.
The podium is to my right.
Okay. Take your, do you have a laptop or what do you have?
Saying like this.
Okay, turn it around toward the podium.
This is my iPad. So you
Okay.
want me, if I turn,
I want
If I
you to
turn
aim
the,
that at the podium.
you're talking about the laptop?
Yes. Or,
If
well,
I do that, then
whose laptop is it? The one
It's
that
the
you just
Elks.
moved. It says Elks on it.
yes.
Okay, you had one that had your name on it also.
The one that's on my name is my iPad.
Okay, take your iPad and put it on the same stand where the Elks laptop is and point that at the podium.
I can't though. There's no space.
There's no space?
I mean, I would have to. That's about as best I could put it there. Yeah, maybe.
Tracy, do you understand what I'm talking about? You're muted.
The space is limited.
Okay.
Yeah. The cart has just the projector and the computer on it.
Okay. The other thing would be to, when the speaker is going to talk at the podium, to move the camera so it's pointed at the podium, because your iPad was so far away, you could see that there was somebody at the podium speaking, but you couldn't see who it was or any definition at all. So if we could
Okay.
move your iPad much closer to the podium, it would make a big difference. You'd be able to see who's talking.
Right. Let me try something real quick. As we are in this, let's do like a little. As long as we're testing.
Okay, now Bet, you've turned your camera off, so turn your camera back on and back it up a little bit. It looked like it was going to be pointed right in the right direction.
Hang on.
There. Now back up just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I've been jerry rigging this whole thing.
There, that would be a
Too small
much,
that way, right?
that would be much better. You'd be able to see who's speaking better. Yeah, just like that. That would be perfect. You agree,
Okay.
Tracy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we would still be able to see the people in the audience with what's. I can see you, Deb, but now I
Right.
can see
So
what.
you-
Now I can see
Right, but
what's
you can see
pointed at the
The
podium.
room setup, so I'm probably 4 or 5 feet in front of the podium right here, and the laptop is diagonal to me. I brought out one of their survey cards. So, you know, we're kind of playing around with how we can set this up and do this the best way.
Well,
So I'll try this the next
maybe-
in-person meeting.
Maybe at the next meeting, I'll come and try to help get stuff positioned. So it makes it easier for people that are on the Zoom to be able to see what's
Absolutely.
going on better. But right now, the way you have your iPad, it shows just the word justice and the microphone, and it would work real well. As a matter of fact, you could turn that TV off behind if that's possible.
It is. The reason that, one of the reasons we're using the TV is because the sound is much clearer and much better for when you guys are speaking. So when we have a speaker that's on Zoom and we're here, that works much better.
Okay, just as long as we're doing some testing, Tracy, can you mute the Elks mic and unmute Deborah's?
I can't unmute. Deb's gonna have to unmute.
Deb, unmute yours. Unmute your iPad.
She got put on her eyes.
Yeah.
There. Okay. Now tilt it back. Now say something.
It's facing that way. But
Back.
yeah, that's getting all
It's too
kinds of
close to the
feedback.
microphone.
Well, it's the computer too.
Yeah.
Deb, say something.
Hi, Walt.
I think that would work real well if we tried to do
Well,
that for the speaker
We
at
get
least.
feedback. We're getting feedback here.
Yeah.
Is that because the television is on?
No, she's getting the feedback from the computer and the microphone.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we'll play around with it and see if we can get the speakers to be more prominent when they're talking. Yeah, I can see Deb right now real
Yep.
well.
The meeting's already over.
Thanks.
Well, we can play with
Hang
it
on.
later, but I thought I would, as long as the meeting was over, I thought we could maybe do some testing and see what we could do to improve.
It's over at 1. At 1.
Okay.
Janet,
I
12 to
will
1 is
I
the
will
meeting.
say goodbye. Have a nice time. We'll see you at the governor's tea party on Friday, maybe.
Yes.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.